And missed opportunities is something we talk about in terms of evaluation processes. When it's real life coaching without the evaluation process, then coach and client can leave the session, think about it, and the next time they meet, have a moment where they say to each other, you know, I was pondering or reflecting on the session last week, and I wondered if this was not something we missed. And the coach can then invite the client into the question, and the client can say, not really, or yes, I'd like to talk more about that. Welcome, everyone. Lovely to have you join us on today's webinar. And as you come in, say hello and where you're from. Yeah, wonderful to see all these coaches joining us, Federica. We now have over 60 on the call. Welcome. Lots of familiar faces and names. And I can't really see your face, but you know what I mean. In my heart, I can see you. And we have a lovely global lot of participants on the call. You can see the chat, Federica? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, it's live coaching today, and we want to make the most of it. So, I am going to engage both Federica and Sussanna in a short introduction, and we're going to get going. When I say short, just a little bit about them. And I will copy their LinkedIn profile onto the chat. So you can click there and learn a bit more about them. And I'll ask Federica at the end to share, how you could get hold of her if need be. For now, I want to say, Federica and Sussanna, welcome to this live coaching session. We are so pleased that you could join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
And
thank you very much.
So much.
Federica is a master certified coach and got her MCC about 2 months ago. And I won't tell you too much about how she coaches because you're going to experience it in a few minutes. I would ask Federica what she would like to say to introduce herself.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for inviting Sussanna and myself today. We are very happy and thrilled to have this opportunity to share with you this coaching session. I'm based in Italy and I've been coaching now for more than 15 years. And I'm quite passionate about coaching, to be honest. And what really keeps me going in this profession is the idea, the feeling that we can really do a great deal for people. Yesterday, on Monday, Ram was talking about healing, and I think that's really a wonderful image because we can really give the people that we coach the opportunity to get hopes that things can change, that things can really happen. So I think this is what motivates the most to be a coach.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. It's okay. I won't say anything more. Your coach and people who get an experience of you. Sussanna, what would you like to say to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm a coach too, but not so experienced as Federica and you. I work as a consultant and I work to develop leadership. I like, I'm a quite positive person and I like life. I think that's all.
That's lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So coaches, I know you all are here to experience some live coaching. I will put myself off video and stay on mute. And Federica, I'm going to hand over to you. So you can do whatever you need to do and manage the coaching. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, fine. Lovely. Thank you, Cindy.
If there's anything you need, call on me and I will show up.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Sussanna, thanks again for being here. How are you?
Quite well, thanks.
Good. So have you thought about something that you'd like to be coached on today?
Yes, to be honest, I have an idea, but I'm still a little bit maybe confused. So I try to introduce the item. Let's say that I would like to find ways to and let's say find ways to recover before I get depleted. I don't know if it is clear enough. I mean that when I am too tired, then I'm not able to recharge. I enter a sort of loop and I'm not able to recharge. So even if sometimes I know what would help me.
Okay, so I'm hearing that sometimes you feel depleted, like
Yes.
a sort of loss of charge, loss of energy. And I'm curious about this loop that you mentioned. What is this loop about?
The loop comes when because I had many months when my workload was really very, very tiring, and when the loop is that when I have to work really a lot, and I'm not able to stop, let's say, to take a rest and say, okay, now I take 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day, I don't know, whatever, and recharge. Because I feel guilty, maybe, and but this becomes a loop because then I'm tired, so it takes more time to do things, and I'm tired and tired. So, and then I arrive at the point when it really takes me months to recharge. And I would also add this point that is not secondary, that I get I don't know, I would say depressed, but I don't think it's the right word, but this moment doesn't come to me another word. I mean that I don't like to spend my whole life in working. So, because in my vision of life, it makes no sense. So I maybe not depressed, but angry.
Angry.
Yeah. Because it seems to me that I am throwing my life away. I'm spending time in a way that is not, doesn't make sense to me if there is just work, I mean.
What would be meaningful to you?
You are referring to in general?
Yes, you said I don't feel it's got a meaning living the life,
Yes.
working so much. So what would be meaningful for you?
Well, okay, I like my job, to be honest. So it sometimes it's also an opportunity to be enriched by your clients. But I need to have space for other things, because I know that my life should be a balance of many different things. For example, one thing that I know is important to me is to have, let's say, quality relationships. This is important. But for example, when I am too tired, then it is difficult for me to feel connected. So this is the loop I was talking about before.
Yes, it seems as one thing is getting on top of the other things, and this loop is, let's say, taking over, right? Getting power. Yeah, does it make sense?
Yes. Perfectly.
Yeah. You also said that sometimes you feel guilty and angry.
Yes, for two different reasons. Guilty because if I do something, for example, I decide to take one day, go to the seaside instead of working, that I feel a little bit guilty. If I don't, I feel angry. So two opposites.
Now you are two opposites. When you were describing feeling angry, then you ended up laughing. What's in this laugh, Sussanna?
Yes, I was laughing because I generally decide for the seaside. But to be honest, in the last weeks, I decided to work, and I understood that it was not a good choice. That is why I was laughing.
What are you realizing so far with this exploration?
Okay, the seaside is good, but on a reality, I mean that, for example, I take one day, go to the seaside, that's okay, that's wonderful. But then the following days, I have to work more, of course. So it's a different balance to find for me. And then sometimes when I am at the seaside, then I think, okay, I could have done this, I could have done that, and so on. So I'm not always able really to, I say, to I don't know, I can't find the English word.
Say it in Italian if you want.
To stop that thoughts, let's say so.
It sounds as an internal dialogue that's taking place.
Yes. Yes. So.
Well, after this exploration, Sussanna, so far, in your own words, what would you like to achieve by the end of this session?
Maybe two things, but I don't know if we're able to achieve both. I would say a way to recognize the moment when I have to stop before it's too late, let's say. And if I don't, I'm not able to recognize when it's going on, a recovery strategy. So let's say a list of things I can do to recharge. At least, I mean, just 2 or 3 things. But I think that maybe the first point is more important, because I think that maybe sometimes I'm over optimistic, and so I say, okay, Sussanna, you can do it. Okay, Sussanna, you can do it. Okay, Sussanna, you can do it. But it's not always true.
So I'm hearing that there's a priority, because you mentioned you'd like to achieve 2 things, but it seems one is has a higher priority,
Yes.
which is a way to recognize when it's time to stop.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then, if that's not possible, to recover, to find out, let's say, a contingency plan to recharge. You call it recovery strategy. Sussanna, what would make this session worthwhile? What would you like to have in your hands as a takeaway by the end of the session?
I would say let's call it a strategy to be aware when I need to stop. Yes, I think this is the most important point. I would say something like an alert that pops up and says, okay, Sussanna, now it's time to rest.
A pop-up for a stop.
Yes.
Yes. What would it mean for you if you got this capability to stop when it's needed?
It would mean a lot because when I am too tired, I really don't have energy for anything. So it could allow me to first to make, I think, more things, and especially to enjoy what I do. Yes, to enjoy what I do, I would say.
I'm hearing an emphasis on this enjoy.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on this enjoying?
Yes. Because well, for me, to enjoy life is really important. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for me to live. And this is why I get angry when I am in the loop, because I have the feeling that life is somehow passing beside me, and I'm not grasping it. So for me to enjoy means that I am really present in the moment, in the situation, that I'm really connected with the persons I'm with, and so on. This for me is to enjoy. Whatever I do, I am there 100%. With no background thoughts, feelings, and so on. Yes. I think that this.
Okay, so find a way to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think or feel we should address to help you recharge, stop when it's needed?
I don't know. Hmm. I don't know if it makes sense, but one thought I had was the idea of taking little steps.
What could the steps be like?
I don't know, it could be, for example, I'm not a good planner, so I think it is useless for me to say, okay, my agenda I put, because then I don't care of the agenda, so it's impossible. But for example, to work with the micro objectives, and then I don't know, maybe find a way really to well, one thing could be also to acknowledge that I got that micro objective, and on the other side, to maybe also it could be enough just to stop for one moment and celebrate, let's say, that little success, and then go on before I go on, let's say. Even if it is not always possible, because okay, there are some activities where I have space to decide when to do and so on, but there are some days when I am full from morning to evening with clients, and let's say it's not always that easy.
Yes, I understand it can be stressful when there are so many things on the table.
Yeah.
Sussanna, you did a wonderful exploration so far. I'd really like to acknowledge that to you. And it seems that some micro objectives and some micro celebrations could help you recharge. Now, I'm curious, and I'd like you to reflect on what's preventing you from celebrating yourselves on your achievements.
Well, because when you are when I am when I am in a rush, of course, everything is done. You maybe, I don't know, close a training session, then you have to answer the mails, then you have calls and so on. And I would say I'm not completely present to myself. I'm not completely self-aware of what is going on in each moment, because my attention that is on what I'm doing. Yes, I think this is what prevents me. And this is why it is difficult for me, and this is why I was talking about a sort of alert that helps me understand what is going on inside me, I mean, because what is going on outside, I know, but then I would say reality becomes a sort of distraction.
It seems you've had a realization about this reality that becomes distraction.
Yes, and generally I do this. I mean that, but the point is that it becomes difficult for me to be self-aware. The more tired I am, the more difficult for me is to be aware.
Okay, so being tired seems to be one of the cause of the loop, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and then you mentioned that having an alert would help you sort of prevent all this situation to take place.
Yes.
So what if you can think about an image, what this alert could be like?
My telephone. The first image that comes to me is really, yes, an alert by the telephone.
How would it work, this alert?
I don't know, because it was just an image, but I don't think it can really work because, for example, if I'm going through a training session, because you can set, okay, I don't know, every hour a sort of alarm, but if I am in a training session, of course, I cannot do it. So I don't know. I should find, but it could be, I don't know, maybe it can work because it could be an alert. Okay, I am, if I am working, I cannot stop in that exact moment, but I can do it later. So it could be an alert that comes, I don't know, every, I don't know, every hour, every 2 hours. And that means that I have to take a small rest. Also because maybe just few minutes are enough. You don't have to take a rest for, I don't know, half an hour.
How does it sound to you?
I have to try, but I think maybe it could work. It could work because I don't know, I have to try.
Make a bit of exploration, experiment, be the scientist of yourself, sort of. What other actions do you think you can put in place to recharge?
Oh, well, one thing that helps me really recharge is to spend time with friends. That is not that easy because most of my friends don't live near me, so it takes me days to meet them, and that is a little bit difficult. As a second best choice, I think that be more connected with the persons with whom I spend time could help. And then I would say in general, do the things that I love to do. Maybe also a little bit of organization would help me.
Here I see a smile.
Yes, because I'm not organized, so it is difficult because I like to do things when I want. I don't like to plan and say, okay, tomorrow I'm gardening, the day after tomorrow I'm repairing the table and so on. That are all things that I love to, but I like to do when I feel like I say, okay, now I want to do gardening, and so I do it. But that makes things a little bit more complicated sometimes. So I have to find a balance between my, how can I say, the fact that I like to be completely spontaneous, and the fact that to be spontaneous sometimes prevents me from doing what I really love.
This is an interesting reflection.
Yes.
How can this reflection help you achieve balance, recharge, enjoyment?
Well, I think that this last point is an important insight for me, because in fact, I mean the one of being spontaneous and do what I want when I want. Because I think that this really often prevents me from doing a lot of things. Because when I said gardening, but it's just an example. Maybe I can do it, and then I don't do it, and so okay, then I say, okay, I work. So maybe if I plan better, I am able to have more time for the things that I love. So this is an important point for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'd like to acknowledge all your insights and your great reflections. And I'd like to ask you, how would you like to close this session?
Well, first, thank you, Federica, because it really helped me to go ahead with this issue. And I think that at the end of this session, I will make my list.
You will make your list.
Yes.
How can you make yourself accountable for this list?
Well, few things. Maybe just one or two to start with. I don't know how I can make myself accountable. I don't know. I want to do it, so I think I will do it because I think it can work. I don't know, but I think that I believe that if I do this plan, this little plan, I will, I don't know, I will benefit because it will improve my well-being. So my well-being will be the proof, let's say, that I have done it. And so will be somehow an indicator.
An indicator.
Yes. Yes, maybe this image of well-being can be a way to somehow remind me the benefits, and so I think that could be also a drive to do it.
A drive and maybe an alert as well.
And maybe an alert as well, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sussanna. It's been really a pleasure and an honor coaching you today. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Federica, really.
Sussanna, you have this lovely smile on your face.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy because I think I have found a way to prevent that this situation may happen again. So I'm really grateful to Federica for that.
It's been an honor for many of us, and you know, from feedback on the chat, to say or acknowledge that we were walking alongside you. Like Federica was coaching many of us. Federica, I want to thank you.
Thank you to you for
it was you know, beautiful presence, and the use of silence was, you know, it was very, very reflective and insightful to pay attention to the dance between you and Sussanna. And, you know, it was so subtle. How did you feel about the coaching? We'd love to hear from you.
Well, I quite enjoyed it because Sussanna is special for me. So I forgot after 2 minutes that I was in the panel and I was in this webinar. I just really lost the sense of reality. I just was with Sussanna, but I think this is also because there's this special relationship that allows us to get connected in a certain way. I think this is the challenge when we coach, right? Because sometimes it takes time before you get connected to your coachee. Not all the coachees are used to, you know, reflect. So I think it becomes a challenge for us coaches, right? But it's important to get there. And I feel okay. I wish I would have had more time because I was really intrigued by what Sussanna was saying, and I would have liked to stay in this dance, as you're saying, Cindy, much longer. But at a certain point, my eye went on the time on my screen, and I said, "Oh my God, I had to close."
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because, you know, we also got a sense that, yeah, this dance could have gone on for longer, but we also acknowledge that we have timings here and had to be mindful of that. Coaches, I want to encourage you, if you have any questions, please raise it on the Q&A box or on the chat box. Either Kamal or I will have a look at it, pick it up, and check with Federica. Any part of the coaching that you want Sussanna to talk more about? Sorry, Federica to talk more about, feel free.
There's one question from Vanita Cindy, which says, what is one question you could have asked differently? Is there any question, Federica, which you think you could have asked differently?
Maybe I could have asked something. I could have dealt. I'm not thinking about. At the moment, I can't really recall the questions, but I would have liked to close a little bit differently. I would have liked to ask Sussanna to how she felt after this exploration. I would have digged a little bit more on that. But as I said, I had a look at the time, and I thought I had to close, and I just didn't want to, take too much time for the coaching session. Maybe the accountability question that maybe wasn't clear enough. I saw that certain point at the beginning, Sussanna was a little bit puzzled. Maybe I could have asked that question in a different way. Yes, that's what I'm thinking at the moment.
Federica, I want to ask you one question of my own, which I notice a lot of times we coaches sort of in our coaching journey sort of struggle with. We saw some really beautiful pauses and silence happening. And during those silent moments, Sussanna was like actively, her mind was like in that thinking space. How do you bring yourself to that stillness? What's your process of holding yourself in that silence and stillness?
I think that what has helped me throughout the years is that I think that we all need time to go to find deeper answers. And as I'm a very active person, at the beginning, that has been very challenging for me because I would like to have everything solved immediately. So I worked a lot on that because I knew that was my challenge. The listening would have been a challenge. It is still a challenge because sometimes just out of enthusiasm, I'd like to talk over the person, right? Interrupting and everything. So I just stay still, and I know that something will happen. That it doesn't depend on me. It's on the person. So I just have to stay there quiet. Sometimes I breathe. Yes, I do breathe because when the silence gets a little bit longer, what I consider longer, then I start feeling my muscle get tense. And so that's the signal that I need to stay there, and I start breathing, and that helps a lot. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yeah, thank you. That's really beautiful, being aware of your own sensations in the conversation. Yeah. Cindy, there was one question about, and I want to ask you to answer this question. There was a question about, reflecting on the lost opportunities in the conversation. What would you say about that?
Okay, bear this in mind. No two coaches coach alike. And what may look like lost opportunities or missed opportunities for one coach and client in that coaching doesn't mean it needs to be there for another coach and client. And missed opportunities is something we talk about in terms of evaluation processes. When it's real life coaching without the evaluation process, then coach and client can leave the session, think about it, and the next time they meet, have a moment where they say to each other, I was pondering or reflecting on the session last week, and I wondered if this was not something we missed. And the coach can then invite the client into the question, and the client can say, not really, or yes, I'd like to talk more about that. So it's not really a missed opportunity. It's something you can pick up with and continue in follow-on sessions. Those are language we use more for evaluation processes. I also want to raise something that coaches are talking about around, I don't know. When a client says, I don't know, and as in Sussanna's case, when Federica remained silent, we all saw that Sussanna went on to reflect, ponder on it, and come up with some answers. So she may have started with, I don't know, and she continued coming up with some answers on her own. That's quite thought-provoking, or evoking, if you want to call it, evoking awareness, where we trust the client has all the answers inside them, and creating the right space, silence, safety, the answers will come out. So you don't necessarily, when a client says, I don't know, you don't need to dive in and really check, oh, what if you did know, and all that type of questioning. Just allow for some silence and allow the questions or the answers to emerge. I don't know is an opportunity for unknowns to show up. It's not knowing, it's an opportunity for more. Federica, anything you want to say to close?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to Cindy. That was my mentor. And I really want to share, because I know that in this panel there are people that are studying, preparing, getting prepared for MCC, and there are lots of coaches. And what I'd like to share with all of you is that thanks to Cindy, I really changed my way of coaching, and it's been a wonderful journey that it took many months. I was quite, I put lots of pressure on Cindy, chasing her, stalking her, sending her like 20 recorded sessions. But it was lovely, because now the let's say what's important for me is totally different from what it was important before. Now it's like I don't care anymore for the performance, and I just stay with the client. Something will happen, and in a program with the client that lasts not just one session, something will happen. The shifts will come. So it's this different self-belief that I have that has totally changed since I was mentored. And yes, this, I think it's important, because if in this group there are people who are, as I was, very performance oriented, I would like just to say, just forget it, because this is not helping. What's helping is really be with the client, and just be sure that something will turn out positive for the client.
Thank you, and you hold that space beautifully, Federica. And I just want you all to know, Federica was exaggerating when she said 20 recordings. She only did about 10, right, Federica? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah. Before I hand over to Sussanna and Kamal to complete, what I do want to say, coaches, join us next month. In the Masters in Coaching webinar, I have a coach who's going to do some live coaching This coach is a specialist in mental fitness. So we're going to have some real cognitive type coaching on beliefs, mindsets, patterns. So come and join us for some mental fitness type coaching. Sussanna, I'd love to invite you to, to note what you would like to say to complete, and then Kamal can complete.
I just want to thank you for this opportunity, because as I said before, it was a very interesting coaching session for me and very useful. So thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Federica, of course, for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Cindy, Federica, Sussanna, for today's conversation, and everybody for joining us. I would request a couple of minutes of your time. I've put in a link for a survey. We would like to hear your feedback on that. How do you like our webinars, and how do you connect, and what do you take away from them? And today, what I'm taking away from you, Federica, is the movement from performance to presence in coaching, and it's very beautiful. Thank you so much. It's lovely to have witnessed today's conversation.
Coaches, if you want to get hold of Federica, find her on LinkedIn. It's Federica Filippino. And you can contact us at Coacharya, because Federica is going to be one of our trainers soon. You may want to join one of her training programs. Take care. We'll see you all next one.